Now this particular session is optional. Alright, you don't have to do this one if you don't want. I want to make this look more like a bar. Okay, at the moment it just looks like a table, doesn't it? So we're going to be using ProBuilder in order to modify this object. So first of all, I just want to take, let's say, pub bar 1, right click, prefab, unpack completely. Just delete the other one out, and that way I can change the name back to pub bar. Okay, now I want to take this bench and I just want to duplicate it. This time I want to rotate it this way. Okay, so we get it coming all the way down there. And I want to move this into place. Okay, so that you can see that it has, it's kind of like, almost like a front to it, which is pretty good. But I don't want these legs in place. So in fact, what I'm going to do is take this out. Now if I go to ProBuilder, I can then ProBuilderize that object. Okay, which means I can now go to face selection, can take certain faces and just delete those. Okay, since we don't need them. So I'm effectively modifying this object directly inside of Unity. So delete, whoops, edit, undo. It should be backspace, not delete. All right. Well, completely forgot about that one. So backspace, that will delete those. Still got these faces, so let me just take this one and the one below. Backspace. There is one below there. I don't think I can get that yet. So go to the object. Can the object lift it up a bit? There it is. Back to face mode and backspace. Okay, let's do the same with these. Backspace. Okay, so what we're left with now basically is just this upper part here. Alright, which is great. Then we want to do the same thing with this object. So once again, we'll go over to object mode, click on this object, once again ProBuilderize it, and we just want to get rid of these first two legs. Okay, so I'll just select these, backspace, leave the back legs as they are, we'll leave those on. Backspace, backspace, this one and this one, backspace, there we go, got rid of that now. And then obviously we need something to be coming down here, so I'm going to take this one, I'm going to duplicate it, Control and D, move it into place, and let's just do a Control, move it this way. In fact, actually Control, let's move it this way so that the beams are facing the correct direction. Just want to move it down like this, across, so that it kind of lines up. Now if we go on to edge mode, and in fact actually I want to isolate this object. So to isolate, that is just I think it's Shift and H, yep, to go into isolation. What we can see, we've got this really interesting kind of edge going on here. So in fact I just want to cut out these faces on the bottom. So just select these faces, okay, all the way around, and we're just going to cut these out. Probably got some on the bottom as well. Let's make sure I've got all of those. Yep, and I'm just going to use a backspace. It's going to delete out those faces. Okay, so if I come out of isolation mode now, I'm going to click exit. So now you can see that we've got this really interesting little side piece here. Okay, and we can also put one on this side as well. So let's go back to object mode again. Let's just click this, Control and D. Let's just move this across to this side, and I just want to rotate this around. Am I rotating? I'm rotating from the pivot, that's why. Control and Z to undo that. Let me change to center. That way it should rotate around its center, hopefully. Yeah, not much better. And let's just put this into place. In fact, we probably don't even need this leg here on this one. So let me click back onto this object, go to face mode. Let me just get rid of these legs on the inside. Backspace to delete, and then this one as well. And backspace to delete. Okay. It looks like I've got a couple of remaining faces actually. Let me try and find that. Once again, I'm just going to do Shift and H to isolate it. Backspace. And then this one as well, and backspace. And then let's exit out of isolation mode. There we go. Okay, that's much better. So now I'll go back to object mode. I'm going to click on this, and I'm just going to put this back into place. And I think that's fine. Okay, we could just do with pushing back just a little bit there. Great. Now it is kind of sticking out of the side there, so I might just scale this down on the red axis. So that it's not sticking too far through there. And then just back in just a little bit. In fact, I might actually just push that back in like this, so it gives it a little bit more interest, so it looks a little bit more interesting. So if I click off this, I think that looks more like you know, like a bar area or something like that. Yeah, I think that looks kind of interesting. So what I want to do there then is take this object, which is bench wooden, this one, and we've got the bench wooden 3 and 4. So the one in between is cupboard preset. Let's just move this above. So we've got all these items all together, and I just want to take all 3 of these and just parent them to this object in this way. When I click on this, I can then move or do something with the entire object, and I'll call this one bar counter, let's call it. I might even want to place like a little bottle on the top here. So if we go back to project, assets, props, prefabs, props, books, and alchemical or whatever it is, and then obviously we've got this little bottle. We can then just drag this in and just put it on top there. Okay, something like this. We might even put another one over here like this, and maybe just rotate that one around a little bit. Just going to rotate freely. Yeah, just so that it looks a little bit more like an actual bar. So that means I can now delete this one, and I can just duplicate my bar counter. So Control and D. And then let's just move this way so that now the 2 are connected and it looks a little bit more authentic. Once again, maybe I just want maybe another bottle over here. Okay, just rotate that around so that the label is pointing out. We'll bring in kind of like a goblet or something. I mean, this, it's saying it's a cup. It looks a little bit more like a chalice or something. Oh, actually, maybe that's okay. Maybe that's pretty good, actually. Yep. Okay, so let me take these items, drag them down to the bottom, open my pub bar again, and I just want to take these items and just put them under props. Okay, that way if I switch off all the props, those items should disappear as well. Alright, great, and it just looks a little bit more authentic now, doesn't it? Great, yep, so I'm quite happy with that.